Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, voice girl, and welcome once again to another edition of the Manspace Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and with me, as always, is my co-host, who also has just as many BET awards as Donald Glover and Sam Smith, the one and only, and less.
I'm going to say that's zero. What's good, brother?
I'm good, man. Did you hear? Did you watch the BET Awards at all?
I did not. I watched clips. I can't tell
Okay.
a story. I watched clips, and what drew me in was Taraji with that Like Us parody.
Okay.
That's what drew me in. Watched that, and then I watched some of the other performances, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
No?
I did see the clip of Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, doing his comments about how he's never won a BET award. And he has more Grammys than Will Smith, but he's never won a BET award. And so he's like, "What's wrong with this picture?"
That sounds like a little hate.
Yeah, I saw the clip of that, and it was pretty funny to me. So,
yeah, that sounds like a little hate right there. Oh,
but speaking of stuff, did you watch the debate at all?
Lord have mercy. Yes, I did.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, as much as I could get, as much as I could swallow. It was bad. Yeah, on both parts.
Yeah.
You got one that stumbled over stuff. Another one just didn't answer the questions.
True.
He just said what he wanted to say.
True.
I'm like, that was a question, I mean, I ain't the smartest tool in the shed, but bruh, I know what a question is.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not watch it at all. I felt like, I knew I was going to get the Cliff Notes version the next day.
Yeah.
Media. So
all the
that's what I went
platforms.
for.
Yeah.
I was I'm not, and whatever happened was not going to change who I was voting for. So I'm like, it's a waste of 2-4 hours, however long it lasts. It was a waste of my time. So I could go on about my business, catch the Cliff Notes the next morning, and then move on. So
yeah, I try to keep myself kind of informed on some of these issues and try to listen to see. I've pretty much made up my mind as well already which road I'm going to take.
Right.
However, it's always kind of good to solidify things. Sometimes you got to just go back over it once or twice just to make sure you're making the right decisions. You know what I mean?
True. But normally that's the way I would do.
Yeah.
But in this situation,
in this case,
it's not changing nothing.
Yeah, I tried to stay to my same routine, and it was tough. I mean, it was tough. I was just like, oh no, it was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the last bit of hot news, did you catch any of the NBA draft last week?
Not a bit. Other than
I figured you didn't, but there's one thing that came out of it, which was Bronny James going to play with his dad. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's a whole lot of brothers at Chrysler and Ford that their daddy got them into the plant. So
absolutely. That's where I was hoping you were going to go with this.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm all for it. The man used this platform to help his family. No different than any other Fortune 500 CEO, executive, high manager, has helped their family. I've worked with people who shouldn't even had jobs, but because their family was there, they had a job. So why not? You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but it's time for us to do the exact same thing.
Yeah. I remember I was told to interview a guy. I was told that he was friends with the owner of the company. And So I sat down and interviewed him, and the guy literally, I asked him like 2 questions. He says, literally, "I don't know why I'm here. I was told to just show up for this interview."
Mm.
And
Next week, he was there employed.
no, HR
No?
went back to
Oh,
HR and said, "No, I'm not hiring him." And
uh-huh.
they're like, "Are you sure you wanna do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna hire him."
Mm.
And I stood my ground, and my boss came to me, and I told my boss the same thing. I will not hire him. He will not be in my department. I stood
Mm.
my ground. And I get a I got an email from the owner of the company basically
Mhm.
applauding me for having cojones
Yeah, yeah.
not not make that decision.
Mhm.
But yeah, sometimes there are people that will try to back you against the wall based on
Oh,
who they
yeah.
know and
I
things
was
like
about to
that.
say, it just
And
depends on what owner.
yeah,
What
and so
yeah,
yeah,
because
absolutely.
most
So
of the time.
sometimes you got to do the best that you can do for your organization and not worry about family. It's like, nah, this isn't a
Right.
good deal. Let me do the best for my organization, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've said no to a few people and was forced to say yes, unfortunately.
Right. Well, we know
You
that company.
yeah. We do, don't we? I was forced to
So
how about this? I said no, but it didn't matter.
right.
Mhm.
We have to tell you about our sponsor, Manscaped. Les, before I do this read, you get your laughs out the way because I can't even get through the read with you laughing.
I'm gonna mute myself right now. I'm sorry.
But our sponsors at Manscaped, because here we go, fellas. It is actually Hoochie Daddy season. And you know what? I won't be participating in Hoochie Daddy season because my big back activities that I did during the off season will not allow me to participate this year. But for those that will participate in Hoochie Daddy season, Manscaped has got you covered. Because when you're wearing your Hoochie Daddy shorts, you don't want any strays hanging out. So head over to manscaped.com and pick up the Lawnmower Ultra 5.0. And don't forget some pregame that you need, the Crop Preserver, and the postgame, the Crop Soother. Or if you just need a quick refresh, you can get the Crop Mop. And while you're there, use the Manspace Podcast special code TMSP20 and get 20% off and free shipping. And as we always say, don't do it for us, do it for your balls. We've done countless numbers of interviews, and this season we're going to start tying those into a segment called The Faces of Excellence in conjunction with our partnership of Black Excellence. So we're going to start this off today with our Faces of Excellence premiere, and we have not one but two guests on this show. So let me give you a little bit of background on them. In this episode of The Faces of Excellence, we spotlight the powerful husband and wife team who personify the pure meaning of the word excellence. Meet Tracy Young and his wife, retired Brigadier General Twanda Young. Building off of the principles learned while in the military, the duo form LT3 Leadership Solutions, an organization that strives on helping corporations achieve peak performance through practical and effective conflict management solutions. Twanda Young is a motivational speaker, consultant, strategist coach, and author while her husband, a proud member of Omega Sci-Fi Incorporated, a former first lieutenant in the United States Army Reserves, and now working on his doctorate in business administration. Manspace Nation, meet the faces of excellence, Tracy and Twanda Young. Welcome to the show.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, baby.
Look at that. Awesome.
I thought you guys would love that one. And
Yes.
Les, I tell you, when I met these two, it's like there's a saying like if you don't like them, then there's something wrong with you. This is true. This is true
Awesome.
when you meet them. You cannot, there's no way you cannot like either one of them. They are such great people. And they, it's like you don't meet friends, you don't meet strangers with them, you don't meet friends, you meet family when you meet them, right?
Awesome.
And I absolutely love being around both of them. Their energy is just so infectious. They are just an amazing couple, and I'm just honored to have them on the show with us today. So thank you guys for being part of the show today. Wait a minute, and we didn't get the audience clapping here. Wait a minute.
We didn't. That was all me.
There it is.
There to go.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure.
Oh,
So,
it's our pleasure.
Mrs. Young,
Yes,
you are
sir.
a native of South Carolina, correct?
I'm a Catalonian. Yes, I am.
Now, Mr. Young,
Yes,
are you a native as well?
I am.
You are a
from
native of.
a small little town in Greenville County.
Okay, all right. So both of you have a little bit of the country background in you.
Absolutely.
Oh, most definitely.
You probably are familiar with this food that I'm going to ask you about.
Really?
Food alert. The Manspace podcast is talking about food again. Food alert. Food alert.
Have you ever had a fluffernutter?
What the shit diggity? A fluffernutter.
Hey, listen. Don't listen to this. Don't listen to the name. Don't listen to the name. Just
No. That's not from the South.
No.
Oh my gosh! I grew up on it. A fluffernutter, yes.
Yeah.
It's a peanut butter sandwich with it, and it's got to be the chunky peanut butter, and then you put marshmallow fluff on it.
No. Nah, you got that mixed. You got South Carolina mixed up with something else. But ain't no such thing as a fluffernutter in South Carolina. No.
Hey, well, listen.
No.
I'm originally from
not
Michigan,
it.
and I never heard of it either.
No, sir.
Oh my gosh! Come on, man! Come on! This has been one of our ongoing bits that we from season 1. This has been one of our ongoing bits, and we try to find out who knows about it and who doesn't. But it seems it's been more guests from the South who have known about this thing, and y'all just let me down right off the bat.
You lost me at marshmallow
Yeah,
spread.
yeah.
You lost me at marshmallow.
Peanut butter and jelly, and that's it.
No,
Man.
Nah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, well, I would tell you to try it, but if you lost at the marshmallow spread, then I understand.
I take your word for it, Les. I take your word for it.
I don't even do s'mores, so I know I won't.
Oh well, then you already put yourself out of there. I understand.
Yeah.
I had to go with just a little bit further with mine because I'm a little extra sometimes.
He's very extra.
So I had to butter my bun, and make it like a grilled sandwich. So I went down a rabbit hole. I went to red bread. I did that for about a week and some change, and then somebody called me and said, "Cut it out."
He had the grandkids doing it, and
oh yeah, I put the grandkids on it. Now they ain't never asked for another one though, so I don't know. It didn't stick.
But you got to do the chunky peanut butter. If you try it, you got to have the chunky peanut butter.
Oh no, I'm not trying it. I'm here to tell you, I'm not trying it. There's something about that that's just not real.
Yeah,
It doesn't say PBJ in its purest form.
Mm.
You why mess with a good thing?
You got to elevate. You got to elevate. You got to take it to
No,
the next level.
that's downgrading.
That's down the slippery slope right there. It's over with.
Right there.
And that's a South Carolina thing.
No, it's just Southern.
No, I'm just checking. No, I'm checking.
It's Southern.
I'm checking with you. No, that's right. I'm checking.
I think he just made it up. There ain't no such thing as no fluffernutter. It don't even sound right.
See, I said the same thing, so I had to Google it.
Yes.
So it is a real thing. I was in the exact same space. That's not real. You're trying to get me to do something to make fun of me. I'm not doing it. So yeah, exactly.
No.
Nah.
No.
That dog don't hunt, as my daddy would say.
That dog don't hunt.
Now that's a Southern saying, for real.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is.
Yes. So Russ has told me a lot about you guys, about you two, since, he met you guys. We've talked about you guys, getting you on the show and things like that. And then I'm happy to actually meet you guys in person. Right. Sure. So, but what was it that inspired you both to join the military?
Well, my story on joining the military is totally opposite from Tracy's, I am sure. But coming from humble beginnings in the South, and being first generational college student, I have a lot of money and figured out that the ROTC allowed for us to have a stipend, and that enticed me. Plus, my boyfriend at the time, whose name was Tracy. No pun intended, baby. I chose the right word. But he went into ROTC, so I followed him. And from there, he left ROTC, but I stayed because it was something that kind of resonated with me, the discipline, because I came from a very disciplined family background. So the discipline and the challenges kind of enticed me. And my brother and my sister and other brother-in-laws have served, and I saw how they served and the things that they, see in the world. So I stayed, and I just didn't want to go back to South Carolina, Darlington, South Carolina, and work in the tobacco and cotton or the mills, and nothing was wrong with that. That just wasn't what Tia wanted to do.
Right. No, I get that. Awesome.
Mine is on the other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
Because my sister went in.
Plain and simple.
Buddy program.
It really was. It was plain and simple. But coming out of high school, I was not old enough to join, to come in at the time. And my mom had to sign for me. And my mom refused to sign. My dad was like, well, if your mom's saying no, it's not going to happen. I have relatives, aunts and uncles that served in the military. But the catalyst for me was my sister went in and she joined up. And once I had an opportunity, I was like, well, I'm going. So that's how I got there. So totally different from her.
Well, awesome. Simple and plain. I hear you on that one. So earlier, you guys seem like such a loving couple. Earlier, I seen you're snapping your fingers and you're doing the sensei thing. You know what I mean? How did you guys meet? I got a good one right here.
I'll take that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it very quick because you don't have a whole show. This will be about 12 episodes for you guys.
Oh man!
So I went to Claflin University. Tracy at the time was attending South Carolina State University, and they used to have a concert that the Clark sisters would come and sing to. And I went with some of my church members that came up to join me. Long story short, finished the concert, walking out. It was raining. I fell down the stairs. There were a bunch of, I call them boys, on the side that just were laughing, but didn't run and come to my aid.
Yeah.
And fast forward 5 years, no, not even 5 years, 2 years.
2 years.
2
2 years
years
later.
2 years later,
Yeah.
we're now at the same military school in Indianapolis.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
And so I see Tracy running around the track when I'm unloading my car. I told my girlfriend, I said, he look good. She said, oh, I know him. I said, well, hook a sister up. Introduce me. So we met. From there, we went on a semi-date. It wasn't a date.
Correct.
Okay. So we went on a semi-date, sitting in the coffee shop and just talking. And we were reminiscing about our days of college. And Tracy began to share, hey, did you ever go to those Clock Sister events? I was like, yeah, I used to love them. He said, oh, I got a story for you. I got a story. There was
no.
me and my boys, we were there and it was raining and stuff. And he said, she walked out. I said, does she have a black dress? He said, yeah, she had a black dress on. I said, oh, okay. He said, but then she like tumbled down. I mean, like she went for it. She went forward, tumble. And he was very dramatic in how he explained it. I said, did some older gentleman run to her aid, pick her up? He was like, oh, snap. That was you? So I've married him. 33 years later, he is still paying for that.
He's still paying for that day. Yeah.
In his life.
You brought it up. See,
listen. I pride myself on being able to read people quickly, and your relationship seems so rock solid and tight, right? So even not even knowing about this, those were the building blocks that she rolled down to building your relationship.
Way to clean that up, Les.
Oh, yeah. Me rolling down some myths.
Yes.
Okay.
Way to clean that.
Tell that to somebody else.
That was good.
That was good, though.
That was good.
But he's going to continue paying for this for the rest of his life.
But
I'm sure he ain't going nowhere. So
how a lot of times you have her side and you have his side.
Yeah, but they got the
whole time
the same style.
she was telling that story. You just saw him; his head was down, just shaking his head. Yep. Like there's no disputing any point.
None whatsoever.
Nope. She didn't miss a beat.
I'm trying to tell you. Well, you went through a traumatic experience, not even in a relationship that held you together. How about that?
And the irony of it is, we never met when I was at South Carolina State. She's at Claflin.
Wow.
There's a fence between the schools,
Right.
And we never met.
Never met
till
Indianapolis. Yeah.
Wow.
So I think it was God ordained.
Absolutely.
You need to stand there and watch her roll.
Not
down
that
the
part.
stairs.
Now stop lying. No.
Oh,
I'm glad she saw you running around the track and was open to that. Yeah, that's it. That's all that mattered right there.
That's all that mattered. But Les and I both, we're Army veterans, and we know like the military.
I don't think
the military life in general is just difficult. And I read an article, Twanda, where you mentioned when you got pinned to second lieutenant that the person in charge had said that you would never get first lieutenant.
Yes.
And then you went on to be at his retirement ceremony.
Shaking his hand and thanking him for his service.
Yes. I mean, just an absolute story of resilience, just listening to that article. But what were some of the challenges that you faced in your military career, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, there are many interesting experiences, I call them, that provided growth for me. That was one early on, was that experience of someone where you were excited about coming into the military, looking to your leadership, expecting them to guide, mentor, and teach you. And for no reason, they say you have no right, and that they were going to do everything within their power to not allow you to go forward. And they had the authority and power to do so. Getting through that moment and then forward in my career, many times of being misunderstood as to the perception of who I was and my abilities that I brought to the table. Because I am small in stature, as you know, Fred, that I, yeah, well, I'm just thinking about when I was talking to him in his stomach. That's for another show. That's for another show. But just the perception of people not seeing you for who you are. And presuming that I don't have the intellectual capacity to bring something of value to the table. Being able to be in a boardroom where I say something, and because my gender is not correct, and sometimes because my color was not correct, that the next person who may have had the right gender or right color said the same exact thing that I said, and now it's a big idea. Now it's whirlwinding. This is something that is just profound. Dealing with those kinds of situations, dealing with conflict where you had a leader that for no reason till this day can I tell you why he didn't want me on his team and why he told the people before I got to the organization that he didn't want me, and to come into that organization at a welcoming event and to the organization, and he can't even remember my name.
Wow.
You know, I think you heard my speech when I did that. That was a part. He couldn't remember my name. What kind of stuff are you telling me at that time with the value, the less value that I bring to the table? Those kinds of things build, that they were experiences that allowed me to build resiliency, to your point earlier, but it also allowed me to be more self-aware and go after knowing my craft. Kind of like knowing the Bible. I know the Bible, you can't take it. Whatever I know, whatever's ingrained into me, whatever in my heart, it's mine. So pushing to know my craft was the way that I got through it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Now, Tracy, I mean, we ain't heard from you, man. You've been pretty quiet over there. So I can tell you go just fit right in because you're a big joker too, right?
Hey, all the time.
All the time.
I mean, so my military career was 6 years. My reserve, all reserve time. Incidences that I ran into was the good old boy network. I mean, we're talking the 1990s. We're talking most of our senior leaders were white men. Most of the enlisted corps were black men or black women. Me coming in as an officer, and I had white men in the enlisted ranks, was challenging for them. Again, we're in South Carolina. We're in rural Anderson, South Carolina, rural Greenwood, South Carolina, where the stars and bars fly religiously.
Yeah.
And it took some getting used to for them, as well as getting used to for me. Fortunately, I did have good leaders who kind of grew up in the North or Midwest, who didn't they weren't indoctrinated into what was happening in the South over the years. So that helped me through a lot of the stumbling blocks and pitfalls and things I dealt with by being in the reserve. So.
Awesome. All right. So I know there's countless numbers of stories that you can share about the good and bad about being married in the military, because everybody knows that's a different challenge. If you've ever been in the military, that's a completely different challenge. But
it is.
But how specifically did the military impact your family life?
I think there were some good,
challenging
moments that allowed us to grow as a couple.
It did.
We in starting out early in our marriage, it was just the two of us. When we first got married, we were in Indianapolis. There was no family members. It was just T&T, as we called ourselves.
Nice.
So we had to depend on each other. We had to confide in each other. I will tell you, early in our marriage, I was focused on Tia and her career. If you weren't in that plan,
I was surviving.
He was. Come on. You know. So, but early on in our marriage, I think one of the saving graces is we had a heart-to-heart talk about in order, this is what I want to do. This is where my career is. But to do that means that you got to sacrifice, because I'm never going to be in the same place for more than 2 to 3 years. And that means that you have to change jobs. And if we have children, our children have to change schools. And there are going to be times that I'm going to leave. And it's just going to be you or you and the kids.
Yes.
And that right there was a mouthful.
It was.
That was a lot to swallow. And I will tell you, first off, in our relationship, in our marriage, and you correct me, David, if I was wrong, I from my foxhole, I saw Tracy, but I didn't see Tracy.
Correct.
I saw Tracy. He was my lover. He was my friend. But I never saw Tracy as a leader. You know,
primarily because I stay in the shadows. I'm in the background. I'm pushing you along. I'll go down over here. You keep going.
But technically, that is a leader, because you push from the rear, and you help guide that. So, so
he was. But I will tell you, until I left. I had a command opportunity in Fort Benning, Georgia. Our girls, we promised, once we get you to 9th grade, mom and dad will figure it out, but you're going to do all your high school in one place. And that means mom may have to leave. And I had to leave and go away for 2 years. And then from there, I volunteered. We had kind of a conversation about that.
We didn't have a conversation.
We had kind of.
I'm going to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That's the call I got.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's right. That is call I got.
Call I got. Yeah. I'm going to go. Yeah. I'm not coming home, baby. I'm going to Afghanistan
for another year. So you think about him being there with the girls. I mean, we had a dog, Sassy, at the time. He was there with 2 girls and a female dog. The man, deserves a medal. He's my.
I was going to say, where is your medal? Yeah, I should see one proudly displayed on your chest.
Still in the shadows with me, man.
Still in the shadows.
But that's when my eyes got open. That what an awesome leader of the family. And the strengths and character and caliber of man that he was. Because I wasn't there. And he was willing to make this sacrifice, and he did. And when I came back home, seeing the bond that he had created with the girls, it's kind of being on a show and you see yourself standing at the end of the counter and pulling, the screen is pulling back. And that's how I felt. They were over in the kitchen laughing, talking. And I wanted to laugh too, but I was disconnected.
You're kind of a stranger, you know what I mean?
I was.
Time had moved on. I understand that.
Yeah, the greatness, though, that I think, and I appreciate him for this and this willingness, was that I said, hey, I need some counseling. And we need some counseling because there's a gap. You know, I came back and I'm coming back to a different Tracy, and Tia's coming home different. And how do we still move forward and be that family nucleus that we were before I left 3 years prior to. So
I love that.
This is my man. Yeah, this is my baby.
The challenge for us in the transition of her being away, now we got the girls in between us. And that's not how it should be. That's not how So it took time for us, because as soon as she got back a year later, our oldest daughter was going to A&T. Now we had this nucleus that shrunk one, even though she was still in the field, but she wasn't there. Year later, the youngest one, she left and went to Johnson C. Smith.
So we had this gap.
And we had a gap. So we had to figure out how to close that gap. And just talking didn't do it. We had to have help.
Some work.
And relearn each other and things like that.
I want to commend you.
Absolutely.
Because that is one of the hardest things to get through. Deployments. I got out of the military myself because I was getting sent overseas again. And I knew I couldn't do that to my wife at that time and my young children, because we wouldn't have survived. Unfortunately, we still didn't survive, but I got out of the military because I made that choice for them. And you guys made the right choices for you, and getting counseling was probably the best thing you did. And I commend it.
hands down. You know, there's a stigma about getting counseling, period.
Yes.
In the Black community.
Especially.
Especially. Yeah, I agree. And but overall, getting counseling as if counseling is something that says, you know, you kind of, you know, got the horns on your head or something's wrong with you in getting it. But I will tell you, it was for me, and I think for us, it was an opportunity for us to really share and remove the veil. Remove the veil of the pleasantries, remove the veil of I'm just trying to be nice because I don't want to hurt your feelings. But if you eat my ice cream one more time out that fridge that I didn't buy for you, you have issues. Why? Because he was used to that once he put something in the fridge, it was there.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah. I'm coming back to anything in the fridge is open season unless you put your name on it.
Right.
He's sitting in his couch and he moves. Well, move your feet, lose your seat.
Move your seat. That's it.
Well, you know, he wasn't used to that.
Right.
You know, so relearning all of those things, but also being honest to say, hey, babe, you know I love you, right? But can you not eat my ice cream?
For real.
Or at least tell me you're gonna eat it and it's all gone.
Right.
Really,
but I didn't want to hurt her feelings.
Yeah. So all those
I just
we were tiptoeing.
And it took a neutral party that had no vested interest in the situation, but had a vested interest in us to say, okay, I gotta make you guys whole again. So let's figure out a plan to get there. Yeah. And
so counseling was good. So
I'm
we
so happy to hear
learned and ways and tips of being able to communicate better.
I'm gonna do the air quotes: professional counseling.
Oh yeah, professional.
Yeah.
Not Mama Neil.
Oh no.
Right. No, absolutely.
No, not
professional counseling.
And nothing against religious counseling. That's beautiful. My mom's a pastor, been a pastor for 34 years. Mama, love you, but you need professional counseling that is really going to challenge you, make you uncomfortable. But at the end of it, we see each other a lot clearer.
That's right.
That's
well,
awesome.
and you guys had to put, so that's a testament to you too, because you guys had to put the work in for that.
Oh yeah.
Right? Oh yeah.
And you had to trust in the system. And that's it. And you had to trust in each other because it's worth it. If you want to be together, that communication is worth it.
Oh yeah.
So I commend you.
Thank you.
I commend you.
So we got a little game because we got a little heavy there off that one, but we got a little game to get it back light again. So this is a little game of higher or lower, where I'm gonna ask Les. You can chill out this time. You're not.
Oh, okay, cool. Woo!
Normally, our guest competes against Les, but since it's the two of you, guys are gonna compete against each other.
I like a little competition.
So I'm going to ask a question to one of you. You're going to decide how many people actually did what is in the question. For example, how many people said they cheated on their third grade test? Out of 100, how many people cheated? So you pick a number. The other person is going to guess higher or lower. It's going to be the best 3 out of 5 is actually going to win the game.
Going down.
I'm gonna warn y'all now. This is like
we're party friends.
These are like family. These are like Family Feud questions. So I'm just gonna let you. They like. Let me say that they like Family Feud answers. There you go. All right.
No hints, Les. No hints. All right. So right off the bat. So I'm gonna say ladies first.
Thank you.
All right. So the question is being directed to you. Madam, we asked 100 single women that were from Los Angeles.
Okay.
Have you ever gone out with a guy who was wearing more jewelry than you were? How many said yes?
Out of 100?
Out of 100.
85.
All right.
85. Okay. All right, Mr. Tracy.
I would
higher.
Lower.
You're going lower right off the bat. You are correct, sir.
Yeah.
38 is the answer.
Boo hoo.
I was about to
These
say,
questions are rigged. That's all I'm saying.
I tried to warn you. I tried to warn you.
The question is to you now, sir.
Yes.
We asked 100 people. Are you wearing underwear or are you going commando?
That's nasty.
How many people said they were going commando?
Where is this located? Is this in California
This is just out of 100 people in general. How many people said they were going commando?
I would say 68 out of 100.
68 out of 100. Okay.
Higher.
Oh, you're going higher.
She's going instant.
Ooh, she didn't even hesitate.
Right.
I will say that you are. The answer is 22.
That's a lie. More people go commando than they're sharing. I'm just saying. You guys know.
Hold on.
Who she sound like? Who does she sound like?
Like you.
Exactly. She sounds just like me. I'm trying to warn you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Tracy, you have
Tracy on hot grits right now.
Oh, lead.
Yeah.
This could close the game out.
Close it out.
General, the question is.
Oh, now I'm general. Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm trying to hype you up. I'm trying to hype you back up. You coming back in this one. All right.
Okay.
We asked 100 top business executives, have you ever really enjoyed firing somebody? How many said they had?
You know they're gonna lie.
I would say enjoyed firing someone.
Yes.
I would say 25.
Higher or lower?
Lower.
Ooh.
He going lower than 25.
Ooh.
For the first time ever, Les, we have a clean sweep.
Oh my goodness. I was gonna say 10. I was thinking 10%. Because I think 10% of 22.
22 was the answer.
Oh, I was close.
Yeah.
You were close.
But no,
I was sure he was gonna go over on that one. No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. Hey.
No. He rubbing my feet tonight.
Oh, no. My feet gonna get rubbed tonight.
Hey, that's Mr. Fish Grease right there. You know what I'm saying?
Lord on his feet. That's why I'm put some lard, not olive oil. I'm put some Crisco on his feet.
They say that's the thing. Hey, you gotta wrap it with some clean wrap too.
That's
okay,
right.
Put some socks on.
On it or something.
Hey, tomorrow you won't be able to walk. Your feet gonna be so soft.
I take my kiss back.
It's okay.
Now you know I'm not gonna live this down until this is not gonna go away after this show.
Well, we know that somebody is a tender loser. I ain't gonna say a sore loser, but tender. You don't like to look. It's so yes, ma'am.
To like you.
Hey,
I just have to tell you. Me now.
Come on now, BG. You can't be like that. I just, I just see it in your face. It's in your aura. You're not losing. I know. And old Tracy over there having a great time with it.
He's gonna enjoy this one.
Yeah.
So let's take a break and reset, and we'll be back with more of the Manspace podcast.
Here we go.
All the way.
All the way.
Gotta be rough and tough.
Rough and tough.
Airborne.
Airborne.
Every day.
Every day.
We run.
We run.
To the sun.
To the sun.
No sweat.
No sweat.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Down in the mess hall on my knees.
Down in the mess hall on my knees.
We got nothing to eat but a can of beans.
Nothing to eat but a can of beans.
The bread was molded and the meat was bad.
The bread was molded and the meat was
Well,
bad.
you know darn well that you can't eat that.
Hey, you know darn well that you can't eat that.
I tell you, when I first heard that, I got goosebumps.
I got goosebumps right now. What?
I was doing this show without putting that in there.
I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh. Oh
Yes.
my gosh. That brings back so many memories.
Well, you can do a little professional singing, huh?
Oh, they both can blow now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're both recording artists.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They both
See, I didn't know that. I
both
just
did it.
picked
All
that
right.
up, but that's
Yeah.
all right. Don't sound like no cadence I used to sing. I sound, hey, if a hit dog will holler, that's what I sounded like.
Oh wow. Wow. No, that was an awesome opportunity. Awesome. Right now, I am the only general officer that has ever sung and led the 82nd Airborne course. And they actually thought when I requested it that it was a prank. And that was all my staff asked me when I got ready to retire. Ma'am, what do you want? And I said, all I want, all I've ever wanted in my career, from the first time that I saw them, I wanted to sing with them.
Mhm.
Wow.
And they put in the request, and the commander of the unit thought it was a joke. And multiple times of me actually calling and saying, no, sir, I really want to have the honor of singing with them. So when we went and did it, my leg, I had just had knee surgery.
Yeah.
And
wow.
3 days off. Knee surgery.
Wow.
And when we walked in, there were E5 specialists and sergeants that taught me how to do the cadence and the movements and everything.
Mhm.
They thought I was going to walk in, this general, being
Right.
generally, I guess if there is such a thing. And when I walked in, I said, hey, I'm your tool, mold me, show me how to do it. I
Yeah.
represent you, you represent me, but I have been dreaming of doing this for 33 years. I just want to do it. And we had a ball.
Wow.
We
Wow.
had a
You are now an author, and a very accomplished author, because I see your book sales are going like crazy right now.
yeah.
Tell our audience a little bit about your book.
The book is called Dare to Lead Differently, Chew on This, 16 Bites for Bold Leaders. And the essence of the book is being a companion with you on your leadership journey. It is of the 33 years of military service and experiences that I've had and strategies that I've used. I took 16, there are many more, but 16 and cull it down to be able to help leaders be better through self-awareness and learning that being a leader requires you to have some vulnerability. To be truly influential over others, you got to be vulnerable and you got to know who you are and cultivate your own self-awareness. So the book kind of walks you through different little nuggets. I call 16 nuggets to chew on of different scenarios of leadership and life that I've gone through and what were the results out of the different leadership strategies that I used.
That
Awesome.
is awesome. That is
Awesome.
awesome. Do we see one coming out of you too, Mr. Tracy, soon?
I don't know how soon,
But there is one coming,
but
right?
there is one or two in there. Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. We Man
Look
Space
forward.
Nation, you guys have heard it. It's coming. So we're gonna hold them to that one. We're gonna stay on them, and we're gonna make sure that book comes out. And when it does, we're gonna promote that one as well too.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Now, since retirement from active duty, how's retirement changed the dynamics of your family?
Well, when I first retired,
Let's think about that one.
yeah. When I first retired, Tracy was like, "Ooh,
Oh, no. When she retired, I thought I retired.
yeah."
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
dinger.
Okay.
So thank you. Because that was not the case. That was not the agreement.
So when she retired, I retired. We retired. We gonna live the retired life. Just came off of a contract. Wasn't looking for no new contracts. I done took a knee on the sideline with coach over here. We good.
Right.
We gonna play a lot of golf, and we just gonna live it up. About 6 months after retirement, she kind of leaned in the foxhole and said, "Hey, your cheddar kind of short, bro. You got to go back to work." In those uncertain terms.
Yeah.
Nobody not long. I'm good, but you got to go back to work.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, 6 months after retiring,
6 months. I mean, come on. He got 6 months to feel like he retired.
Six is better than 9.
I think at the beginning it was really for me. I was bored.
She was bored. She was not challenged like a general officer is on a daily basis.
Yeah.
No one's knocking down the door to get answers or ask for advice or anything of that nature. Phone was still ringing. A lot of her mentees that she mentored, they would still call, but even that slowed to a degree. After a year, they started calling back, and we was like, well, what happened in the transition? Well, we wanted her to have some time to herself. And I was like, she didn't need no time to herself. She needed
that. Yeah, she needed that. Yeah.
So it was
interesting.
Yeah.
So I started from I went and sought out an opportunity with Bowie State University from the relationship that I had forged prior to getting off back to duty with President Bro, and became a lecturer on conflict management, leadership development. And that kind of filled my void because I was helping someone. I was bringing value. I was seeing the results. And then after about 2 or 3 years,
it was like,
I was like, okay, all right.
What's
so
next?
I know I'm doing that. I see the fruits of the labor, but there has to be more. Volunteering with different organizations and things of that sort was good, but I just felt that there was much more that Tia and we had to offer, that we needed to do something else. And that's where LT3 Leadership Solutions was birthed.
Awesome. Do I?
Yes. You good? Yeah,
I'm good. Okay. So the next I'm just like, all right then. So this is a good question for both of you, right? If I could grant you one wish to go back in time and speak to yourself for 10 minutes, what advice would you give yourself when you were younger? And that's a question for both of you individually.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. You had a 10-minute conversation with yourself.
One would be start your financing for retirement early.
Yeah.
And be consistent, and don't allow living like the Joneses to get you off track.
Right.
I would tell them that you need to ensure that you understand that you bring value to the world, and never allow or waver in your thought process that is not the case. You deserve to be here, and you have the right to be here, and what you bring to the table is needed. And then I would tell them,
that's a long 10 minutes.
Well, it's my conversation.
She's gonna run it to 9:59. You already know.
Yeah, you should. And you know what, Les? And I would tell them, use their time wisely.
There you go.
That was a long 10 minutes. My first thing would be to definitely start wealth building early. Don't wait till you're in your 40s and 50s. If you have an idea of doing business, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out how
Oh,
to
That's
plan
good,
and execute. Start in your
Yeah.
20s. Don't
Not
and
even your 20s, even earlier,
yeah,
right?
but I mean, we had ample opportunity to start businesses, but we were so
Yeah.
career focused, military,
Right.
civilian career. We didn't think, even though we had entrepreneurs in our family.
Yeah.
You know,
See, I think that's one thing our culture is missing. We
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
do that earlier,
Both
earlier
our
than
parents
later.
were entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we looked at them. Oh, they started another business. Oh Lord, Mama, when you going? What you doing this month? You know, but that was their way of getting that extra revenue stream coming into the family to offset what they weren't getting going to work. You know, for the different companies they worked for.
Mhm.
So you know that's what I would tell myself mostly. Everything else, hey, I wouldn't change anything that's happened.
You wouldn't tell them that when your wife falls down the stairs,
No.
that is your
No.
wife. Mm.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that's part of the conversation.
No. Not in that 10 minutes. Not in that 10 minutes.
Now, in the next 10 minutes, we got other things to talk about.
Right.
I'll come back in another 20 years.
Okay.
To piggyback kind of off of that question a little bit, you know, two of my sons, they're recruiters right now, actively in the Army. Manspace Nation, if you are looking to join the Army, hit us up and we'll get you connected to them. So, you know, quick plug. But anyway, what advice would you give young men and women who are looking to join the military?
The first thing I would tell them is to read the oath of office in which you are about to take, and to really meditate on that oath, because we say those 72 indelible words, and those words mean that we are saying we are willing to give our lives for people that don't look like us, that don't agree with us,
Don't like
that
us.
don't like us. We're
Right.
willing to give them the opportunity of choice to live as they desire. And if that is not in your wheelhouse of servitude, then the military, regardless of what branch you go into, is not for you, because you have to be committed to that. Because going back to your question of challenges, those challenges are going to come that are going to challenge your thought process politically, religiously, your values, your beliefs. We all come into the military, and it is about bringing us together and creating a culture. But we all come from different cultures, right? To then be inclusive into one. But if you're not about that, about team synergy, if you're not about serving others and not about being able to do what is necessary and make sacrifices, there are sacrifices that soldiers have made that you will never know about, to allow you to have choice in this world and to be able to choose to do what you want to do. That's why it's less than 1%, because it takes a special individual. I don't care if you served 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, you served. You made the decision to serve others in order for them to have the ability to live a life of freedom. And that to me is, I'm just a little passionate about that.
She haven't taken off the uniform. It's still on. It's still
Bottom line up front, that's what I tell them first, is to look at the oath and see if that resonates with you. And then when they get in, I will tell them, seek out every opportunity that you can to ensure that you are getting the certifications, the training, everything that you can fill your resume up with, all the free educational opportunities, so that that one day when Uncle Sam says, it's been real, thank you so much for your service, you can transition out, but you got something in your toolkit that's viable, that's marketable for you then to be able to at least bridge that gap till you figure out what it is you want to do next. But to stay in the military for 20, 15, 10, 5 years and not have anything to show for it, it's a waste of time.
I concur. I will also add, make sure you keep track of your records, keep track of going to the doctor, all of those things. So when you transition out, whenever that is, 5, 10, 15, 25 plus, you're ready to go and go see the VA. Go to the VA people. Go talk to those folks that can help you as you age. Go hurts are gonna get worse.
Yeah. I would tell you for the young folk that are coming in, to your point, babe, which is, I would say get in the habit that every duty station you go to, before you leave that duty station, you go to that TMC and you request a written copy, and you request a what is it?
Jump drive,
or floppy disk copy of your record. And you begin to keep all that at every duty stations. If your sons aren't doing that, then I would tell them to start that as a consistent thing that they do for every station. Because when you get out and you are going for your VA benefits, now you can go through your record, highlight those things from head to toe, categorize it in a book that makes the auditor not have to work for looking for your information. You've assisted them in what's wrong with my head, what's wrong with my eyes, so on and so forth, down to the bottom of your feet, every part of your body. Take your time, invest in you, and categorize your paperwork out. But if you start doing that at every time that you're going to a duty station, by the time that you finish, you're good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Well, I wish I would have got that advice when I got out. Dang.
Yeah. Real quick, Tracy, because we're running low on time, but all three of us. This is the man question here. So Tia, you can kind of slide out of this one, but all three of us married very, very strong women.
Yeah.
And so, how do you keep from getting yourself overshadowed completely with everything? Because we know that not everybody has to be up in the front. So you have your wife is in front, but you're right there pushing beside her. You have your role, but how do you keep from getting yourself overshadowed?
To steal the Army slogan, "One team, one fight."
There you go.
I like that.
There you go.
For us, I'm always telling her, as long as we're rowing in the right direction, we're right. It's just when we start rowing in opposite directions, okay, then that's when we need to take a tactical pause. We need to get away for a couple of days, figure out, okay, what's going on? What channel are you on? Why aren't we rowing in the same direction? For our relationship, I knew what I married into. I mean, she was active. I was not. I was a reserve soldier. She was AC. So understanding that we're going to move every 2 years, I was like, oh, what an adventure. Let's go. Go. I am not going back to Fountain Inn, South Carolina. Let's go. Right. And for me, I just saw it as opportunity because the exposure that I got at every duty station, good, bad, or indifferent, my counterparts at home didn't get that access. So they, one of my best friends told me, I live through you. Every time you put something on Facebook, or every time you guys come home and you talk about going to Hawaii, going to different duty stations around the country, he never left South Carolina. He never left South Carolina. So it was I don't know. That's how we got where we are. So, I'm all about supporting her. She supports me. I mean, I'm going to working on my doctorate, and she's like, "Yeah, go ahead." I'm like, "Really? Okay, cool. Let's go."
Yeah.
And she said, "Okay, yeah, it's your time to get out there and get it done. You put it off, once or twice. So no, let's go for it. You got my support."
Awesome.
Dr. Tracy Young.
Can I add to this though?
Yeah.
From a woman's perspective, because I feel left out. Okay.
I didn't think we could stop you.
No, probably couldn't. But here's what I would say about Tracy and his leadership. I think he's humble in his response to you. But Tracy has, as I said when when we really got promoted to Brigadier General, and it's out on YouTube. You can go out, for your listeners, you can go out and see the ceremony itself. But I said in that ceremony to him, I would not have wanted to pin on Brigadier General if he was not a part of it. And I meant that wholeheartedly, because Tia couldn't have gotten to where she was without having a man of his caliber and his trust in me that I was about doing what I said I was going to do for the betterment of our family. And because he allowed me to spread my wings and he truly held them up, we both soared to be able to be at the rank of Brigadier General and enjoy having that influence and that impact of being able to be accessible to people and show them another side of the military. That wouldn't have happened. There are not many African-American Brigadier General female officers in the military. You can look it up. When I was in, there was only about 9 or 10 across all services together. So to make it to that, Tia didn't get there by herself.
Right.
The nights that I came home and I was studying in War College and I needed somebody to correlate my book, he was doing that. When I was upstairs and doing things and studying, he would bring the glass of wine and bring me dinner. He would let me read as we drove from the Pentagon back home. He would stay as my accountability partner of getting that stuff done. There would just be, and I think to your wives, if I could take the liberty of speaking, you are allowing us to be able to be who we are and to share with the world what God has purposed us to do. But do understand, because we know we couldn't do what we do without each one of you.
Right.
So from me, on behalf of the wives, I say thank you.
Oh,
Wow.
we appreciate that. And we thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we close out, I need to know, how can our listeners follow you? How can they find out more about the LT3 Leadership Program?
They can find us on all social media at Twanda Tia Young on LinkedIn, Facebook, at Instagram is at lt3leads.com. The same for YouTube. And on our website, www.lt3leads.com. We'd love to talk to you. For us, we are about to launch a new leadership styles mastermind boot camp, and we're looking forward to that. We're going to be doing a mimosa book release on July the August the 17th. And so if you're in the area, come by. We're going to have some great book discussions. We are just enjoying where God has us and having the opportunity to provide value and show people the possibilities of what can be, regardless of where you are, is what we enjoy doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Man, this has been a great interview, and I really enjoyed it. Unless you kind of get why I love the energy of these two.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the whole time that she was answering those questions, she said "we," because it is a team.
It is a team.
And from the first time I noticed this, and Tracy and I joked around a lot, but it's a team. Right, we had several jokes that are in between us, right? But it's a team effort, and it's beautiful to watch, and I absolutely love being around them. I love their energy. Thank you guys so much for being part of the show. Thank you guys for being part of our 5th anniversary special as we start off season 5.
Yes.
It was wonderful meeting you guys. I hope we get to do this again.
Yeah.
We'd love to. I will win, though.
Hey, I got you. I got you.
Rematch in the future. All right. Let's run to break. We'll be right back. As we do each week, we like to close the show with just a little bit of inspiration. The word of the day is innovation. Innovation is the process of creating new ideas, products, or methods that bring significant improvements or positive change. It involves thinking creatively and finding different ways to solve problems, enhance experiences, and make advancements in various fields. Innovation is not just about creating something new, it's about transforming the ordinary into extraordinary. It's about challenging the status quo, pushing boundaries, and daring to dream beyond the limits. Our world is ever changing, and innovation is the key to progress. It's the spark that ignites technology, healthcare, education, and beyond. It's the driving force behind the solutions to our greatest challenges and the advancements that improves our daily lives. So remember, innovation starts with a single idea, moment of curiosity, and the courage to take the first step. You see, whether you're an entrepreneur, a scientist, an artist, or anyone with a passion for making a difference, your innovative spirit can change the world. So Manspace Nation, I encourage you to let your creativity shine, celebrate ingenuity, and always strive for excellence. Because within each of us lies the potential to innovate, to inspire, and lead the way to a brighter future. Keep dreaming, keep creating, and keep innovating. There you are.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't sure if they could see me or anybody could see me. So
Okay. Well, now we can see you. Okay. All right. Yeah, we didn't want to see that. But anyway, we have to keep pushing forward and let creativity shine. And that's one of the things that we saw with our guest today, that their innovation and being able to basically, as you keep moving on in your career, you're basically reinventing yourself.
Absolutely. You have to be creative. Think out the box. Do things people would expect, So and show your worth.
Absolutely. That was very key, because that was one of the things that I got from Twanda, is that her commander didn't value her in the beginning.
That's right.
But she knew what her value was.
That's right. Know your worth.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then how they value each other. That's amazing.
I mean, it is amazing, man. It was such a refreshing, something to look forward to, a pillar, a marker that's set for me. You know what I mean?
That's
that's awesome.
One day when you grow up, Les.
I know, right? This gray haired man, I don't know, man. It keeps making me think I'm growing up, but I don't know about that, man.
Hey, get you some Just For Me.
Just For Me.
For those that are watching on Stage Plus, there is no after show today. Maybe we'll come back next week with it. But for everybody else, on that note,
we're out of here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Man Space.
Whichever platform you listen to us on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss a show.
Remember to keep up with all the Man Space updates on our website, themanspacepodcast.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at manspacenat1.
Until next time, Man Space Nation, he's Les, I am Russ, and we are out
of here.